If you're a man over 50 and you've been waking up multiple times every night to use the bathroom, feeling that uncomfortable urgency that just won't go away, or dealing with that weak stream that makes you wonder if something's seriously wrong, listen very carefully. What I'm about to reveal might shock you because the real culprit behind your prostate problems isn't what conventional medicine has been telling you. In fact, it's likely sitting on your breakfast table right now, disguised as something healthy, something you've been consuming for decades without a second thought. And the truth is, this silent enemy has been quietly inflaming your prostate, setting you up for a cascade of health problems that could change your life forever. And the truth behind this will shock you. My name is Dr. Claire Foster, and I'm a urologist specializing in men's health with over 15 years of experience treating thousands of patients. What I've discovered in my practice is something that conventional medicine often ignores, that the food on your plate has more power over your prostate health than most doctors are willing to admit. I've seen men reverse symptoms that were robbing them of their quality of life simply by understanding which foods were sabotaging their health. Today, I'm going to share the 3 worst foods for your prostate, and I promise you the first one will surprise you. Here's what most men don't understand. Ignoring these dietary triggers isn't just a little discomfort. Every day that passes with chronic inflammation in your prostate is another day of cellular damage, another step closer to serious complications that can't be reversed. I've seen men lose their confidence, their intimacy, their ability to enjoy a simple night's sleep. The constant trips to the bathroom become humiliating. The fear of being too far from a restroom controls your life. You stop traveling, stop going out with friends, and your relationships suffer because you're exhausted, frustrated, and worried about what's happening to your body. But here's the most dangerous part. The medical establishment wants you to believe this is just a normal part of aging. They'll tell you it's inevitable, hand you a prescription, and send you on your way. What they won't tell you is that your body is screaming for help, sending you signals that something in your diet is causing chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and hormonal imbalance that's destroying your prostate health from the inside out. The good news? Once you understand what these 3 foods are and why they're so damaging, you can start making changes today that could transform your prostate health in ways you never thought possible. As we get ready for the big reveal, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from. I love to see how far our health community reaches. The first item on our list is something that millions of American men pour into their coffee, cereal, and protein shakes every single morning, believing it's building strong bones and healthy bodies. And that's precisely where the danger lies, because what you don't know about dairy milk could be the reason your prostate symptoms keep getting worse. Let me tell you about James, a 63-year-old retired mechanic from Ohio who came to my office completely frustrated. "Doc, I'm up 5 times a night," he told me, exhausted and desperate. "I can barely make it through a movie anymore. My wife thinks I'm ignoring her, but honestly, I'm just too tired to do anything." James was drinking 2 large glasses of milk every day, one in the morning with breakfast and another before bed, thinking he was protecting his bones. He was skeptical when I suggested eliminating dairy, but what happened next changed everything. Within 6 weeks, James was down to 1 bathroom trip per night, and after 3 months, he told me with tears in his eyes, "I feel like I got my life back. I didn't realize how much this was stealing from me." Here's the science behind why dairy milk is so dangerous for your prostate. Recent research from Loma Linda University Health studied over 28,000 men and discovered something alarming. Men who consumed just 1 3/4 cups of milk per day faced a 25% increased risk of prostate cancer compared to men who consumed minimal dairy. But here's what's even more revealing. The increased risk wasn't related to calcium at all, because non-dairy calcium sources showed no such association. So what's the real culprit? It's the hormone content of dairy milk itself. Think of it like this. Up to 75% of dairy cows are pregnant while being milked, which means that milk is loaded with natural hormones, including estrogen and progesterone. Your prostate is a hormone-responsive gland, and when you flood your system with these external hormones day after day, year after year, It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. Additionally, dairy consumption raises your blood levels of IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, which research has linked to promoting certain cancers, including prostate cancer. Here's your practical protocol. Eliminate or dramatically reduce cow's milk from your diet starting today. If you're currently consuming dairy milk regularly, your first goal is to get below 2/3 of a cup per day because research shows that's where most of the risk increase occurs. Better yet, switch to non-dairy alternatives like unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or cashew milk. These provide similar functionality without the hormonal load. And if you're worried about calcium, remember that leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and fortified non-dairy milks can easily meet your calcium needs without the prostate-damaging effects. And if you found that revealing, wait until you hear about our second item because it affects your body in an even quieter way, silently damaging your prostate through mechanisms that most doctors never discuss with their patients. The second food destroying your prostate health is something that's become a staple of the American diet, found at every barbecue, packed in every lunchbox, and sitting in the deli section of every grocery store. I'm talking about processed meats, bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, ham, and salami. These convenient protein sources are actually time bombs for your prostate. Robert was a 68-year-old former sales executive who loved his morning routine: 2 strips of bacon, a sausage patty, and a sandwich with deli meat for lunch. It's protein, right? He'd tell himself. When he came to see me, his PSA levels were creeping up and he was experiencing constant pelvic discomfort. I thought I was eating healthy, Robert confessed. Low carb, high protein, isn't that what we're supposed to do? His resistance to changing his diet was understandable. These were comfort foods he'd eaten his entire life. But after I explained the research to him, Robert made the switch. He replaced processed meats with grilled chicken, fish, and plant-based proteins. 6 months later, not only had his symptoms improved dramatically, but his follow-up tests showed encouraging changes. "I don't miss it anymore," he told me. "Once you feel this much better, it's not even a sacrifice." Let's break down exactly why processed meats are so dangerous for your prostate. A landmark study from the National Cancer Institute followed over 175,000 American men for 9 years and discovered that men who consumed the highest amounts of processed meat faced a 32% increased risk of advanced prostate cancer. It's basically as if your breakfast bacon is activating multiple pathways to prostate damage simultaneously. First, processed meats contain high levels of nitrites and nitrates, preservatives that give these meats their pink color and extended shelf life. Inside your body, these compounds convert into N-nitroso compounds, which are known carcinogens that directly damage cellular DNA in your prostate. Second, processed meats are loaded with heme iron, which catalyzes the formation of harmful free radicals that create oxidative stress and inflammation throughout your prostate tissue. Third, when these meats are cooked at high temperatures, especially when grilled or barbecued, they form compounds called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs, with benzoapyrene being one of the most potent. Research shows that men with the highest exposure to these cooking-related carcinogens face a 36% increased risk of advanced prostate cancer. Your action plan is straightforward but requires commitment. Eliminate or strictly limit all processed meats from your diet. That means saying goodbye to bacon, sausages, hot dogs, deli meats, and ham as regular parts of your meal plan. Instead, choose fresh, unprocessed protein sources like wild-caught fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids, organic chicken or turkey, and plant-based proteins like legumes and nuts. If you do choose to eat meat occasionally, avoid grilling or barbecuing at high temperatures. Opt for gentler cooking methods like baking, steaming, or sautéing at lower temperatures. The goal is to reduce your exposure to nitrites, heme iron, and cooking-related carcinogens that are silently destroying your prostate health. What worries you most today? Type 1 in the comments if it's frequent nighttime urination, or 2 if it's concerns about prostate cancer risk. Your answer helps me create future content. But there's still one more villain we need to expose, and this one is hiding in virtually everything you eat, from your morning coffee drink to your afternoon snack to your evening dessert. This final food is perhaps the most insidious because it's everywhere and it's destroying men's health on a massive scale. The third and final enemy of your prostate health is something that's been normalized in American culture to the point where most men don't even realize how much of it they're consuming. I'm talking about added sugars and highly refined carbohydrates found in breakfast cereals, pastries, white bread, sodas, energy drinks, candy, and even supposedly healthy foods like flavored yogurts and granola bars. I want to tell you about Michael, a 59-year-old IT manager who came to me with classic prostate symptoms: urgency, frequency, weak stream. But here's what caught my attention. Michael also had prediabetes, was carrying an extra 40 pounds around his midsection, and admitted to drinking 3 sodas a day plus having dessert after dinner. "I've got a sweet tooth, doc," he said with a nervous laugh. "Always have." Michael was skeptical that sugar could affect his prostate. After all, what does a sweet tooth have to do with urinary symptoms? But I explained the connection, and Michael agreed to try a 90-day sugar elimination. He cleaned out his pantry, started reading labels obsessively, and committed to the change. The transformation was remarkable. Not only did he lose 18 pounds, but his prostate symptoms improved so dramatically that he called me excited, saying, "I didn't believe you at first, but this is incredible. I feel 10 years younger." Here's the scientific mechanism behind why sugar and refined carbs are devastating for your prostate. When you consume high amounts of sugar and refined carbohydrates, your blood glucose spikes rapidly, forcing your pancreas to release large amounts of insulin to manage the surge. Over time, this creates insulin resistance and chronic inflammation throughout your entire body, including your prostate. Research has demonstrated that men with higher sugar intake experience increased levels of inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein, IL-6, and TNF-alpha, all of which directly promote prostate inflammation and cellular damage. Moreover, excess sugar consumption leads to the formation of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, which are pro-inflammatory metabolites that accelerate aging, metabolic dysfunction, and oxidative stress. Recent research shows that age accumulation modulates metabolic crosstalk in the prostate tumor microenvironment, potentially promoting cancer development. Think of it like this. Every time you spike your blood sugar with a soda, donut, or processed carbohydrate, you're bathing your prostate cells in an inflammatory soup that damages DNA, disrupts normal cell function, and creates the perfect environment for disease progression. Your practical application is both challenging and empowering. Eliminate or dramatically reduce added sugars and refined carbohydrates from your diet. Start by reading nutrition labels carefully. Sugar hides under dozens of names, including high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose, cane juice, and agave nectar. Aim to keep your added sugar intake below 25 grams per day, which is the American Heart Association's recommendation for men. Replace refined carbohydrates like white bread, white rice, and pasta with whole grain alternatives that have fiber to slow glucose absorption. Eliminate sugary beverages entirely. This single change can reduce your daily sugar intake by 30 to 50 grams. Instead, focus on whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables, fruits with fiber, lean proteins, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Your prostate will thank you by reducing inflammation, improving function, and decreasing your risk of serious complications. So, to recap, the 3 silent villains destroying your prostate health are: Number 1, dairy milk, especially from conventionally raised cows, which floods your system with hormones and raises IGF-1 levels that promote prostate disease. Number 2, processed meats loaded with nitrites, heme iron, and cooking-related carcinogens that directly damage prostate cells and increase cancer risk. And number 3, added sugars and refined carbohydrates that create chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction that devastates prostate health. The science is clear on this. These dietary choices have consequences. But the good news is that change is possible with consistency and commitment. Your body hasn't forgotten how to be healthy. It just needs your command, your decision to stop feeding it the very things that are causing the problem. I've seen this transformation happen hundreds of times in my practice. Men who were told their symptoms were just part of aging, men who were resigned to a life of discomfort and limitation, who made these dietary changes and experienced profound improvements. You have more control over your prostate health than you've been led to believe. The power to reduce inflammation, support healthy function, and reclaim your quality of life is sitting at the end of your fork 3 times a day. If this information was valuable to you, please hit the like button so YouTube will show it to more men who need it. And don't forget to leave a comment. I personally read as many as I can. Share this video with a friend or family member who you know will benefit. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any health guides. And one last thing, a personal request. I recorded this video wearing a mask. It was really important for me to know if the sound quality was good and if you could understand me perfectly. Please leave a quick comment about it. Your feedback is crucial for me to keep improving. A big hug, and I'll see you in the next video.